Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, colleagues, friends, and thank you for joining us. My name is Dimitrios Buhalis. I work in Bournemouth University, and basically I've invited a lot of my friends to come forward and have a conversation with us about what's going to happen in tourism due to the coronavirus crisis, and how we are going to be in a position to restart and reignite tourism. This is the hashtag I'm using. I'm using reignite tourism to make sure that the communities can go back and we can go into a new into the new era. I've invited very good friends from different areas, and particularly the Mediterranean region, because the Mediterranean region will be facing a whole range of challenges, which are not necessarily the same as other countries or other places. It's absolutely critical to understand how we can collaborate at the European level and how we can collaborate in a global level in bringing different things together. We've got with us today very good friends and colleagues, professors from different universities. My good friend Marina Novelli from Brighton University, who's also Italian. Maria Gravaris in France, in Sorbonne, who's also Greek. Carlos Costa, who is in Portugal and he is Portuguese. We've got Anna Farmaki, who is in Cyprus. And we've got Valeria Minghetti, who is in Venice, in Italy. And then on the second panel, we'll have different people. Before we go to the next stage, I'd like to spend a little bit of time introducing the issue and looking to where I have been, where I've seen that tourism is going to go as a result of COVID. And I really want to share with you some of the slides. That's part of a presentation I did for the WTO earlier on, at the beginning of the pandemic, to actually help us think of where we're going. I'm going to be very brief. I'll show you a lot of pictures and share with you some of my thinking of where and under which conditions we're going to be able to reignite tourism. I think this is the first kind of crisis that we've seen the world uniting and coming all together and understanding that this is not an area that someone can actually solve alone. We will need to collaborate and we need to get together. And I'm very grateful to my friends and colleagues for joining me today, because this is exactly what we do. We collaborate and we learn from each other's experience in different countries to see how we can take advantage of what is happening and how we can help our communities and our industry to move forward. COVID changed everything, and the last 2 or 3 months we had such a disruption in global industry that is unbelievable. This is a crisis unlike any other. We had crises before, but most of the crises we had experienced before, they had a very short period of time and then went to recovery, or we could actually control and understand what was happening. So if you've got a tornado, tornadoes normally have got a life cycle. Normally takes 2 or 3 days of disruption. They leave catastrophe behind, and then you're going to recovery phase. We had September 11. It was in a way a similar situation, because what happened was the whole crisis lasted for about 4 hours, and then we went to recovery. And then we had things like tsunami. Again, it lasts for half an hour, 1 hour, and then you're going to recovery. We don't know when we're going to go to recovery, and that makes this particular crisis really, really difficult. Also, we don't know when the crisis will reoccur as well, and that is also making it more complicated. This was Bournemouth, because Bournemouth is not Mediterranean exactly, but it's actually near Mediterranean. This was Bournemouth on the bank holiday last year. This was Bournemouth on the bank holiday this year. This is Emirates, say see you soon. And most of the planes have parked somewhere. This is Bournemouth Airport, where a lot of British Airways aircraft is actually parked right now. getting some sun, but not getting any money and not going anywhere. I've looked into the statistics this morning, and there are 4 million people who are infected by the disease. There are almost 300,000 people who have died around the world, and that's really a very difficult fact to actually get in terms with, and we feel so sorry for all the families and all the people who have suffered from this and keep suffering, and of course all the health professionals and all the key workers who have been helping us during this pandemic. When you look into this slide, this is the time I did my previous presentation for WTO. That's on the 13th of April. And you can see 1.8 cases and 110,000 deaths. And you can see where this was happening. If you see it now, we have 4 million cases and 280, almost 300,000 deaths, and you can see how it has spread. This is what's happening in Europe. I started quite early when my mom was still in hospital, and because it was really critical in their world what was happening with the virus, and I was observing it from early January. And you can see what happened every month. In 2 months, it actually filled up Europe, and we've been seeing really very devastating effects in Italy, in Spain, and many countries. So this was on the position on the 13th of April, where Italy and Spain and the UK was quite bad. You can see what's happening now, that deaths have ballooned in Italy, Spain, and the UK, and France, and especially in the UK, it's growing really, really fast. I don't know where we're going. And with the new measures that Boris Johnson announced yesterday, we'll see what's going to happen. Boris was actually in hospital for about 3 weeks, trying to recover from that. And the situation is really, really bad, and where we're going to go. I'm pleased to say that Greece, for the first time, it's probably one of the best examples that we find out there. Cyprus has done very well. Portugal has done very well. Bulgaria has done very well. But a lot of other countries are actually suffering. And the thing to remember when you're looking at this map is really that these are the countries that they are primarily either creating outgoing tourism or incoming tourism. And when you look into the statistics in more detail, you'll see how many people have actually been infected, and you can see the number of deaths in those countries, and those will determine what's going to happen next. And I guess we're going to be discussing it later on. WTO said we need solidarity, commitment, support. And I came early and advocating solidarity and advocating that people will need to engage with each other to help, and in particular to address the health issues that we had, and help each other and help the health system wherever the health system was. And then as far as tourism is concerned, we said travel tomorrow, or till then stay home. And I came up with 4 words: humanity, solidarity, resilience, and leadership. And those 4 words are very, very critical, especially during the crisis, because during the crisis, and when a lot of people are dying, you really need to support the system, and you need to use those kind of things to be able to move forward. And I'm saying that because different countries are in different stages of the crisis. Some of them, they're going out of the crisis. Some of them are still in the peak. I think it's the first opportunity to see where we're going from me to we, and how we need as a community and a society to move forward to the new thing. And during the crisis, I said that we need to look into people first, in terms of codependence and staff and employees and collaborators with safety, food and medical supplies, cleaning equipment support, and to communicate, to show empathy and sympathy, to create relationships, to address cancellations and refunds, and reinvite people to dream on how they come to us. And I'm very pleased, and we created with Kyros Asfis, we created the 360 tourism solidarity on Facebook, where we are bringing together all the good things that have happened during this time, and how people created solidarity for a whole range of partners in the community, and the healthcare, and also the communities in need in terms of the elderly, the disabled, the poor, and the marginalized, and to support the society move forward. I think everybody understands that this is the only certainty is uncertainty. And I was watching last night on the news in the UK how people were dealing with the uncertainty and how they're engaging in a whole range of different activities to see where we're going to go in the future. Crisis is predictable, but the response is debatable. And something a lot of my students know is that if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And I think we'll be seeing a lot of these things in the future. The good news is that we're alive. Hopefully we're all healthy, and hopefully we'll be able to move to the new era that's coming forward. But the new era is not going to be like the past era, what we left behind. The past is becoming irrelevant, and we need to look forward in a very, very different way. So we will not return to the past. We will not return to where we left tourism, but we will depart into a new future. And I think this new future we'll discuss today on the panel, and colleagues will be explaining what's going to happen in their countries, in their regions, or how they see the future coming forward. Resilience is accepting the new reality, even if it's less good than the one that you had before. So I think a lot of people are still in denial in terms of understanding where we were and where we're going to go in the future. You can fight it and you can do nothing but scream about what you have lost, or you can accept what and try to put together something that's good in the future. And I think this is really critical. And the other thing I've been saying around is that rough seas make great captains. We need to demonstrate leadership, and we need to understand how we can go forward. And I've started the new 4 R's of tourism, if you like, in the post-COVID era, which is Reignite, starting the engine of tourism to run again, refocus on what we do, redesign, and eventually re-engineer. Reignite in terms of starting again the engine and get the industry moving, refocus on what we do, redesign with a new situation, understanding what's the new health requirements and what's the new business requirements, and then eventually re-engineer everything we do to the new environment that we're going to see in the future. I see a lot of people who are jumping to conclusions, but I say we need to go into stages. We need to go on the first stage, which really at the time that we've got the crisis, then the immediate recovery, and then we start looking into longer term. And what's also critical to understand is that when we're talking about tourism, we're talking about the 3 regions. We're talking about the destination region, we're talking about the place of origin, and we're talking about the transit region in the middle. And in a minute, we'll be discussing about a lot of those things. The good things with this crisis is that it does not destroy the beauty of our destination, and it does not destroy the infrastructure. Normally, a lot of crises that we have got, they destroy the infrastructure. So we cannot go back to what we had because hotels or infrastructure is destroyed, so we cannot operate. But a lot of those things will still be in place. So we'll need to start rethinking about products, branding, co-creation, experience, local people, differentiation, authenticity in order to move forward. I spent a lot of time creating this comprehensive framework, if you like, of strategic response. And what I say is that, okay, during crisis, we need to look after safety, but then gradually we need to start looking to human resources, money strategies, operating process, product proposition, distribution pricing, strategy and competitiveness, and destination strategies. Now, depending on each destination and depending on its market and depending on each type of product, we will need to take forward strategic decisions about what we do. And that is critical because a lot of people are trying to bring an umbrella strategy for the whole country, that may not work. It may be different regions, different islands, different places operate in different ways depending on their capabilities and infrastructure. I don't have the time to go through each of those things, but I'm working on this to develop as a full report. So nothing much has changed and everything has changed. So people still want to travel, but they're afraid to travel. And we need to start looking to how we can take forward those initiatives to bring people together with smart solutions. And you'll find here a range of papers on real-time and smart solutions that I'm normally basing this presentation on.